What is law?
Real law are the laws of the cosmic and natural forces. That is real law. Real law is something that does not change. In order for law to regulate something, it can't change. So, in other words, like gravity. Gravity is a law of gravity. Gravity is going to operate the same way precisely all the time without any slight change whatsoever. And that's a law. That's real law. Now you have things that are called laws, like statutory codes, rules, and regulations, that do operate off principles of the laws of nature, but they're not really laws. They're really regulating activities of individuals who do not know real law. Matter of fact, when you go and study Roman civil law, statutory law was really for slaves. It's very significant. Matter of fact, it is probably the most significant thing. Law is incorporated into the very fabric of almost every aspect of society. So, well, law regulates everything in period. I mean, when you look at positive law, which is another name for man-made law, it is a derivative of natural law. It really is. When you look at the judges or the people who draft laws, these are individuals who are very knowledgeable about natural law. They know natural law principles. And you'll see these principles laid out in the maxims of law. And most people aren't paying attention. It's like cause and effect, or like in the Causation, the first law or principle is mentalism. Well, in law, you'll have a maxim of law, mens rea, or for you to be guilty, the mind must be guilty, or criminal intent. All right, it's a lot of maxims of law that deal with the state of mind that you're in. All right, but one of the first principles, and then you see a maxim that says a thing is unbound the way it is bound. Well, that's cause and effect. You know what I'm saying? You see, you got to make these connections on what they're saying in the maxims of law. So they distill down from natural law into positive law. So you can't, I'm going to be honest, as a people, you cannot operate in society without knowing natural law. That's the deduction I came to on my own. You cannot operate, period. The first thing we're supposed to be teaching our children are the laws of nature. That's supposed to be the first thing we're supposed to be learning. Because nothing else makes sense if you don't know it. You got to know how everything operates off the laws of nature. It's impossible. When you sit back and think about it, it really is just ridiculous for us to think that we can advance any kind of way without knowing natural law. It's not going to happen. Those who in the Causation they have another maxim. It says those who serve on the higher rule on the lower. It's called those who serve on the higher rule on the lower. And what that means is those who fall in line with the higher laws get to institute laws for those who fall under it. You see what I'm saying? So the rulers are the priesthood. The priesthood rule this planet. The priesthood, those who know spiritual laws, are going to always rule over those who don't know.
So you're saying ignorance is what makes someone subservient to...
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. The law is going to always operate with whether you know it or not.
Right. So
it's incumbent upon you to know it. If you're going to empower yourself, because it's going to affect you whether you know it or not. So it stands to reason that you got to know it in order to empower yourself. You're going to walk around in abject ignorance, not understanding, what's affecting you. So yes, we have to know law.
One of the understandings with law now for us in our community, especially the conscious community, this understanding or obtaining an understanding of law has become like obtaining freedom papers. If I sign this, if I, get my status back, or if I get a UCC and put a lien against myself and my wife, no one can come after us. I can take money off of my social security card, number, blah, 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 reclaiming my straw man. How accurate are these claims of full liberation and freedom after going through some of these processes? Is it really processes that we need to go through, or do we just need to understand how to respond
I think we're doing the processes backwards. I mean, there is legitimacy to the processes, but what the necessary component that people choose to ignore is the spiritual component. You have to understand, listen to me, I'm looking at the camera and say this, you have to understand this. Stop thinking that this spiritual talk is some type of pie in the sky type thing, or some type of esoterical mumbo jumbo that somebody is talking about. The real knowledge is spiritual, learning spiritual laws. The paperwork don't work without spiritual laws, because the spiritual laws is going to develop your character. You have to have a certain sort of character to make this paperwork work. Most of you are in the problems that you're in because you don't have certain character. I'm going to talk to Christians for a second. In your Bible, it tells you that if you go into debt, you're a slave. Why are you paying mortgages and car notes? You're violating the tenets of your religion. Right there, just, I can go into some simple things. Your character is not such that you're going to be afforded the remedies that you're looking for. All right? It's a character thing at first. It has to be that way. If it was not that way, then anybody and everybody could do anything they wanted, and then we would have anarchy. And they're not going to allow that to happen. So they have to put things in place that basically test you. You have to be tested. There is a character assessment that goes with that. Your character is a product of your predominant thoughts, your habits, what's controlling you. And then that's when we got to get into health. Because if you're full of parasites and things like that, now your thoughts are being controlled. It's real deep. If people really listen to my show, I get into all these different things. It's not because this is what I just enjoy doing. These are necessary components. Not just paperwork. I remember one time I told a judge, I'm not a heathen. They took me right in the cell and brought me some pepperoni pizza. And she's a Jew. The judge was a Jew. And I know what it was. You know what I'm saying? I said, it's a test. Are you going to eat this pork? You know what I'm saying? I just made a statement that I'm not a heathen. Okay, let's see. This is what's going on. And you have to have a spiritual eye to see. You get behind these cells. A lot of people get behind these walls and get arrested. They are oblivious. They're going through a procedure and they're doing what they're told. But once you become knowledgeable, now you're aware of what's going on. Now you're perceiving things differently. You're looking at what people are saying to you. You're interpreting things differently. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing, and then you're going to come to the conclusion that, man, they really are trying to see what type of spirit I have. They really are into that. We kind of give lip service to all that, but that's their world. They live in that world. That's what they're doing behind the scenes. They're doing all type of rituals and trying to talk to spirits and and doing astronomy and astrology. This is their daily living. They giving us this, I don't know what you want to call it, this BS, type religion and everything. And we kind of live in a world of effects, and they live in the world of causation, and if they keep us in the world of effects, we'll never have any power. And that's what it is that's what we got to get to. We got to get back to the spiritual laws. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about church. I'm not talking about your synagogue. I'm not talking about your mosque. I'm talking about real spiritual practices that we used to, perform. This is what I'm talking about. Not, I'm talking about science.
The reason why so many of our people don't get into law.
Well, I think, first of all, the reason why we don't get into a lot of different things is because we're not exposed to things, and we certainly aren't apprised of the importance of knowing certain things. What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to bring awareness to our people, and of course, we're trying to start our own institutions. That's another thing we need to do. I don't think our people are a dumb people in any kind of way. I think that there's something in us that is rejecting the form of education they're trying to foist upon us, which is why we're appearing like we can't excel in their school system. We can't excel in their school system because their education is unnatural. It's not teaching us how to. It's not teaching us how to connect with nature, how to connect with the source. So I think in our DNA is rejecting it, and we're interpreting it as failure or something like that. See, women can do it. They say, "Oh, these women are going to school because they're receptive." You know what I'm saying? They do things like that. We as men, you know, I don't look at our men as failures because they don't want to work these jobs. Who wants to go work with these white people? You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. They don't want. I don't blame them. I don't want to work for them either. You know, they'll be getting on. They need to know, have an alternative in place, obviously, to do something. But as far as why we aren't exposed to it, or why we don't gravitate to it, because one, we're not apprised of the importance of it. We don't know. We're kept in a box of, play athletics, be funny, being dumb is cool. You know, that, especially that being dumb is cool thing. We got to get rid of that. You know, I'm on an all-out mission to make being intelligent gangster, because being intelligent is like intelligent hoodlum. Because when you look at government officials, they're intelligent gangsters. You know what I'm saying? We got, like, real gangsters are intelligent. I don't know where we got this thing from that being intelligent is uncool. Reading books is uncool. These dudes, man, these gangsters and everything is running, these intelligent people, you know. They foot soldiers may be dumb, but the guys at the top are intelligent. Where are y'all getting this from? Look at real gangsters. They wear suits. They're intelligent. Sit around. Watch The Godfather. These are not dumb people. These are intelligent people. So you don't know where that comes from. I don't know where that ideology comes from. But I think that's part of it too, that, you know, they perpetuate images in media. Most of our women, they think a thug with swag is the most, attractive thing that's going. I even see them sometime on Facebook. You know, we like thugs because they cool. Y'all, other guys is boring. They look at that as exciting. Right? There's something wrong with them. You know, when you don't find intelligence, when you don't find, the pursuit of knowledge, when you don't find the development of your mind, body, and spirit attractive. It's a dead person. Dead people, So that's a large part of it, though. I think I've met young men who done grilled out their entire grill who are chess experts. And then chess tells a lot about a person too, playing chess. And I can tell that this is the individual that just wasn't exposed to something. This may be one of our CEOs of our corporations, but because the environment that he was brought up in, he was never exposed to certain sort of things, he never was able to demonstrate his full potential or what he could actually, accomplish. So that's how I look at it. I look at it from that. I mean, it's just exposure. We're not exposed to a lot of things. I know when I was growing up, I wasn't exposed to law. Hell, I didn't know what I was going to do. It's like, I'm like, okay, But now I was given a platform. I didn't realize that I had a propensity or, a natural inclination to understanding or overstanding or having an understanding about this positive law that they have. It just came natural to me. But I never would have known that if I had never been, picked up a book and started reading. It was something I just understood. You know what I'm saying? We all have our gifts. And we all have to have an opportunity. I do believe that if people follow their passions, roads will lead them to their gifts, though.
Who's they?
That's a very good question. Who are they? They are the ones that you don't see. They understand privacy. They understand privacy. They're not going to come in the light. They're not going to, like, for instance, give you an example. I was doing some discharges of some houses in Atlanta, and I got a call from a banker. And it was a weird call because he called me on a blocked out line, and he called me up and he told me I was fucking with the wrong bank. His exact words. He said, "You fucking with the wrong bank." And actually he called me up. He said, "Hey, Jones, what's going on?" I was like, "Hey, what's going on? Who's this?" And he wouldn't tell me his name. But he said, I see you going over there taking down another one of my houses. And I was like, what house? What house you talking about? And he gave me the address. I said, yeah, that's my house. He said, well, if you go over there mess with that house, I'm going to arrest you. And I thought it was maybe the owner of the house or something, or the past owner or something like that. But as we began to talk, he just told me straight up. He said, because I told him, I said, well, look, I've already taken the house. I have the paperwork on it. And he said, well, look, let me tell you something. You're fucking with the wrong bank. I said, this is the bank? He said, you're fucking with the wrong bank. I got over there to the house. They had detectives over there within 10 minutes. And one of the detectives didn't know what was going on. The detective rolled up on me. He said, yeah. I said, what can I do for you, officer? Mind you, I have the deed to the house. He said, what can I do? What can I do for you? Oh, we got a call. Someone over here is doing, we got a call that someone is issuing terroristic threats. So now, mind you, I had my friend with me, and my friend was a police officer, but he was out of uniform. So he's then witnessed everything. I got a police officer witnessing everything. All right. So we ain't told these investigators. He told me, be quiet, man. Don't tell them I'm a police officer. So I'm talking to him. So I said, well, yeah. I said, somebody called me on my phone, but it was a blocked out number. So I don't know if you're trying to imply that I issued a terroristic threat against somebody, because how could I do a terroristic threat against somebody who called me on a blocked out number, and I don't even know who I'm talking to. So that fucked him up. So he was like, look, somebody else over here as a house ain't supposed to be in. All right. So then I pulled out my paperwork. I'm telling you all this to say that the banks run everything. They run the police. They run everything, because these guys, about 5 or 6 patrol cars rolled up. Whoever was on that phone, he claimed he was with the bank. They had detectives and everybody out at the house in less than 20 minutes. You see what I'm saying? And the way that it was done, the detectives came before the police officers even came. And it was just like, it was so fast, and how they tried to roll up on me with the excuse first, and then he changed up. I knew, I said, y'all dudes are involved in something. Now, when you get into this and you start doing a lot of stuff, you're going to find out that there is a secret society. Most of y'all don't think there's a secret society because y'all in no man's land. Y'all not out trying to do anything. You haven't tried to discharge no debt. You ain't fought your cases all the way to the end. You ain't did a lot of stuff, so you haven't discovered a lot of things. You ain't bumped into people who are going to reveal information to you. But I can tell you unequivocally that there are secret societies. There are societies of people out there living that have information that you don't. They are. And that is the they. They will send people to you, and they send a news team at me, and they will never have to even reveal who they are. But they will do things to find out who you are, because they want to know who you are. But you will never find out who they are, because they understand privacy. They keep their affairs private. So if you want me to say they are the most intelligent people on the planet who run everything.
So, question, would you advise us to follow their model?
There's only one truth. Their model is the model. Their model, I'm gonna put it like this. I would say we should learn what they know, because what they know are the laws. Their application of the laws, I would not advise us to follow. It's not the laws, or not. There's no such thing as good and evil. It's only people who are conducting or implementing or utilizing laws in a way that is most beneficial for themselves. I can't even really call it good or evil. That's like calling a lion evil. A lion's not evil. You know what I'm saying? A cobra's not evil. Piranhas are not evil. Sharks are not evil. You know what I'm saying? I can't call these. They're doing what their nature dictates to. Parasites are not evil. These are not evil creatures. You know what I'm saying? I can't even really call a demon evil. Can you really call a demon evil? A demon is doing what it was supposed to do by nature. So is that evil? If a demon needs fear, hate, envy, and all these different negative emotions to subsist off of, is that evil, or is he doing what he needs to survive? See what I'm saying? So it's all our paradigm. It's how we perceive things. Well, that's why we use agreeable and disagreeable. That demon's needs is disagreeable to what I need. So, we call that evil or whatever. But no, we need to find out what is beneficial to ourselves and implement that. So no, I wouldn't, they're parasitical. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know that a lot of them can't be very highly spiritually developed, because a highly spiritually developed person is a creator, and there's no need to be parasitical. A God is a creator, not a competitor.
Good point. Good point. All right. You want to talk about your show?
Yeah, we can talk about the show.
Okay, cool.
You want to talk about the show?
Man, no promo, man. Put it, you know.
I mean, I created a show called High Frequency Radio. I'm Yusef, by the way, and it was an idea that me and Paul David Savage launched together. December 15, 2012 is when we started. We've been going strong on the radio. We're growing right now. Our intention have always been honorable. Paul kind of he was kind of adverse a little bit to because we kind of like coming corporate now. As y'all can see, I got an office and all of this, but it's necessary in that for us to help the greatest amount of people, we had to start organizing ourselves and implementing some sort of corporate structure. So that is what I'm doing right now. A lot of the money that y'all pay on webinars and so forth, they don't go to me driving a Benz or anything like that. He can attest that I don't drive a Benz or dress everything goes into the business, website development, things like that. We're going to be doing online classes. I want to build a university. I want to build a private university. I want to get people like yourself and other individuals who understand these spiritual practices start teaching classes. We have the technology that is available. We don't have to go to these public schools. These public schools are failing us. They're dumbing us down. They got all the evidence that can show it. Y'all think y'all gonna go out there and get jobs and everything? That job thing, y'all need to throw that in the trash. We need to be developing our own businesses. We need to start building our own neighborhoods again. We got to get back to this. And we got to stop talking about it. We have to start taking action. And education is the first step to that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm building us an infrastructure and a platform where we can start getting our education together. I use Blog Talk as a school. That's what I teach. And I give people the benefit of my experiences and my knowledge. And people, that's what I'm about, and it's not no fake thing. I'm not trying to get over on anybody. I'm not trying to, I really care about my people, and I want to see, before I leave this third dimension, I want to see us, excel. I want to see us start coming together. I want to see at least something, we as a people experience our greatness again. We built those pyramids. These people know, man, if we get together in our own communities and start elevating ourselves and get our teachings back, you're going to see pyramids start spring up again. I'm telling you, man, they have to suppress us. They don't know what we capable of. They go over there and look at all this stuff, that scares the shit out of them. Man, God damn, these people, you know what I'm saying? Let's go drug them up. With fast food. Keep them drugged up. Let's give them some Similac when they're born. Do some things. Keep them some soy milk. Do something to them. Keep that, whatever kind of power they got. We did. Soon as they're born, shoot them up with something. Drug their asses up. Because we don't know what type of baby's coming out between this black goddess's leg, what it's going to be capable of doing. So, that's what I look at. I look at it like that.
What are some of the services that you provide to the community, if you want to talk about that?
Well, what we were planning on doing is implementing trust. I know that people hear me talk about trust all the time. I'm taking my time with it. I'm not rushing it. I'm the type of person, I make sure I understand everything that I'm doing from beginning to end before I implement it. What I am doing is, what I understand is that for us to build, we have to aggregate our capital, and we have to have a vehicle in place that we can do that. So what I'm offering to the people is putting together community trust so we can start aggregating our capital, and then we can start also, this will help us keep the experts within our communities. Our experts leave our communities, our architects, our doctors, our lawyers, everybody wants to move out of their community because, quite frankly, there's no money there. There's no way to pay them. We got to start, when we aggregate our capital, you make these people trustees over this, right? Now they're in our communities and they have something to build with. We got to give them something to build. We got to build. We're not building anything. We got to go to somebody else's neighborhood to go to a nice movie theater. You want to go to a nice movie theater, You know, you don't want to go to anything in the hood or anything like that. You know, we got to start building our neighborhoods back up, and then we got to show the world that we are respectful people again. You know, and that's what I'm all about. You know, not no, you know, oh, we basketball players, we rappers, we strippers, you know, we twerk, and that seems right now seems to be our, you know, what people view us as, you know, as entertainers. And that's not where we're at, and that's not where we are at all. You know, we've been conditioned and programmed into some other type of entity, and it's not even who we are.
What is the black man's responsibility at this time towards his family and community?
The black man's responsibility is that we are providers and protectors of our community. That's what we have to do. We have to, first of all, establish ourselves as providers and protectors. All right, for instance, give an example, this Mike Brown situation. Be quite honest, man, we're supposed to hunt down that police officer and kill his ass. And every time they kill one of our people, we're supposed to kill one of theirs. Till they get the understanding that we're going to kill all you motherfuckers, and then you stop shooting us down in the street. After, you know, now that might be a very physical and low vibratory way of handling things, but, you know, I think it's necessary until we can get out of their communities, because the thing we need to do is get out of their communities. So we as men have to start being men again. We have to stop being punks. Because right now we cowards. You know, and we got to stop being cowards. You know, we can't get let another race, and our women are seeing it. Our women are seeing it. Our women got to be seeing, damn, look how these white men punking us. And what if we were living, this is how I like to think of things, what if we were living 500 years ago? How would we handle it? They didn't have guns or nothing like that. How would we handle another man coming in, another group of people coming in, killing one of our own? Will we get the warriors of our community, go over there and handle that shit? That's how I look at it. These people are into slavery. I mean, they got some sick, psychotic people out there. And I mean, we gotta be providers and protectors. Providers meaning that we have to establish businesses in our community. We need to set up our own infrastructure and take care of our families. And we gotta stop impregnating our women and leaving them with kids. All right, that's another responsibility of we as men. We have to control our dicks. We have to learn the importance of sperm, the creative force of it. This is what I mean when I say we got to learn the higher laws, because a lot of things we do because we don't understand the effects of the cause and effects of the spiritual significance of these activities that we're engaging in, like sex, for instance. We just use it as a pleasure thing, but we don't really understand totally the creative power of the male and what we're doing to these females. And these females, they need to start to understand the value of their virginity as well. And stop letting so many spirits, you know, impress them. You know, they just doing it indiscriminately. You know, you at least have to have some, you know, some type of discrimination about what it is that you're doing. And so I think we need to get rid of that. I think one of the big things that's really bad that's happening in our community is we have so many women that are raising kids by themselves, and men are just not present in the home. And I think that is evidence of some sort of well, it's definitely a lack of understanding of laws. There are laws that regulate everything. There are laws that regulate a union with a man and a woman. There's a spiritual significance behind that, and we got to start understanding that. And we got to, and once we learn it, I think we'll naturally start progressing toward doing what is right. When we really understand what it is we're doing and how detrimental it is. What you don't know can hurt you. What you don't know will hurt you. And it's quite evident what's going on right now. So our responsibility as men is to be providers and protectors of our families and our women.
What is the responsibility of the black woman to the family and community at this time?
The black woman is okay, I'll just say this. Black woman, you're supposed to fuck me, feed me, and tell me to go out there and take this motherfucker over. That's what you're supposed to do. Take it over. And that last part is the important part because it encompasses a lot of things. Telling me to go out there and take it over. Go out there and have business. Go out there and handle and protect the family as well as the community. That is what you're supposed to do. And when I come home at the end of the day, make me feel like a king, and I'll make you feel like a queen. But yeah, I'm not talking about being barefoot and pregnant or anything like that. I don't propose any of that. But I do think that there are. I think what has happened is that it's unnatural. You know, have women, like our women ain't supposed to be in these corporate environments, working on these jobs around these white people and everything. So a lot of stuff goes on in these. There are more hoes in the corporate world than in a strip club. And anybody want to challenge me, I dare you to challenge me on that. There are more hoes in the office than there is in a strip club. Right there, and that right there tells me that our women should not be in those environments. We should take our women out of those environments, and we as men are supposed to create an environment that they feel safe in and that they are provided for in. So they don't have to go out and do all these things that they're doing. Look at the Jewish communities. Look at some of these other communities. You'll see they're doing the same thing. You know, businesses are family run. We suppose your business, your family is your business. Your family is your business. You're supposed to be developing a family and putting your sons and daughters to work in that business in your family. You know what I'm saying? They ain't supposed to be going off somewhere working some other cracker making them rich. Yeah, that makes sense. You send your son to college to get a job, to go work for another race of people to make them rich. What the fuck? That don't make no goddamn sense. You know what I'm saying? That don't make no sense. We don't think correctly. We got some shit fucked up the way we think.
What is the black child's responsibility to the family and community at this time?
Well, you know, the black child's responsibility is largely, it's hard for me to say what a black child's responsibility is, because the parent, that principle, teach a child the way he should go, and when he is older, he will not depart from it. A lot of that is that responsibility is on the head of the parents. So it's hard for me to say what the child's responsibility is. Now, when the child reaches an age of responsibility, which should be about 13 years of age, then we can get in that discussion. But prior to that time, that child should have been prepped, or should have been prepared to take on those responsibilities. So I think we as a people, we got to get back to having a culture. Hip hop is not a culture. They call hip hop a culture, but it's not a culture because it's not preparing our young men and women to be men and women, you know, and what their reciprocal roles are. So that, answer to your question, I would have to say that, you know, that's the parental responsibility to instill the right principles in the child. So when he grows up, he will not depart from them. I hope I answered that pretty good. I don't know, you know.
No,
that's
that was
my
good.
feelings on it.
That was good. That was real good. Is there anything that you want to add on?
I guess, you know, I'm human. I make mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I don't think I'm better than anyone. I like to think that I have certain habits that I'm trying to work off and to correct about myself. I'm a work in progress. I love my people. When I look out at some of the things that my people do, it saddens me, and it makes me sometimes wonder if what I'm doing has any effect. You know, when I step out and I see us fighting on YouTube, slapping each other around, killing each other. I mean, y'all get mad about the Mike Brown situation, but y'all kill each other in the street every day. You know, that's just the truth. Rioting and things like this, you know, animalistic behavior, savagery, you know, that I can see sometimes that we can devolve into. All these tattoos all over your body, and, you know, you're desecrating your temples and things like that. These things that we're doing, you know, I just know it's just not really us as a people. And, you know, I'm hoping that I will see a change. I'm just doing my part to leave my mark. I'm not trying to get over on anybody. I don't know everything. But when I don't know something, I go all hell out to try to find out about it.
We talk about private and public. How is that significant in our understanding of law?
It's very significant. Public law is dealing with the social contract. When you got people who come together in a society, right? You got to have laws. You're going to give up some of your private rights to operate in a group setting. Right? Obviously, because you got to do what's beneficial for the whole. This is what public law is all about. What is good for the whole of society. Right? That's what they're operating off of. Now, they have to have laws that institute that. And let me see if I can just outline it for you. If you have a chart in your mind, at the top of the chart would be the cosmic and natural law. Right under natural law, you would have positive law. And then positive law would branch off into two separate branches, which one on this branch over here, you would have procedural law and remedial law. And this branch over here, you'd have substantive law. And substantive law would branch out into two more branches, and it would be public law and private law. And then on public law, you're going to have constitutional law, administrative law, criminal law, tax law, and public international law. And on the private side, you're going to have tort law, status law, property law, and contract law. So it's significant in that you have to determine early on how you want to live your life. Are you going to live your life publicly, or are you going to live your life privately? And you'll see this all the time. You'll hear somebody say, well, he retired to private life. Probably heard that phrase before. All right. Or, I'm going to retire from public life. All right. In the public, it's an honor to be in the public. Public means government. That's essentially what it means. All right. Public is police officers, sheriff, secretaries, clerks, judges, attorneys, politicians, mayors. That's the public. Firemen. That when you hear that word public, you're talking about employees who are bonded, who have taken an oath to uphold and protect private interests. The private side are individuals who really operate according to the laws of God, because you're talking about men and women who are living their life, and we have to know how to interact amongst each other without government interference. If the government has to step in, that means that you don't know how to deal with yourself like grown men and women. Like I was talking to the sister yesterday, she had the divorce case. Y'all got to go to arbitration. They having to come in and tell you when you can see your kids, on what days, how much child support you got to pay. They treat you like children, because this is something you're supposed to be able to work out on your own as responsible adults. Now, you wouldn't have to do that if you were following the laws of God, because in the Torah, you're giving instruction. You're giving instruction, first of all, not to divorce. Women are supposed to be divorcing twice, but you do it anyway. So we have to put in rules to regulate people who refuse to follow the laws of God. You have to be regulated, because you don't know how to regulate yourself. Everybody has to follow some sort of law. It's going to either be a higher law, which is the laws of God, for less of a better word, or it's going to be a lower law, because you don't want to follow the laws of God, so the people who are following the laws of God have to put rules in place for you. This is also why in religion you'll see that the king, they say, has divine authority. Or the judges, they're supposed to be representing God. These people are supposed to be knowledgeable about natural and cosmic law, which they are, because most of them are Masons. All of them are. Like Masons or Illuminati or something like this. These are all people who study natural law. They all study natural law. And they learn these things, what you call magic, and the higher sciences and things like that. That's all this is. These are higher laws. I'm hoping that what I do has an impact. I'm hoping when I can leave my mark in the world before I leave it. That's all I want to say on that.